technology and artificial intelligence. So we have two speakers for this session. We have Hadyan Andika, who has joined us from Google Meet, and we have Amit Kumar. Hadyan Andika is a senior web consultant at Google. So he has extensive experience in web technologies, and he has been at the forefront of integrating AI into web solutions. We have Amit Kumar. You can please come on stage. So he's the engineering manager at Redbus. So he's fascinated by web capabilities and has mastered the art of performance and intuitive UI. He has been weaving the magic for Redbus web platform. So welcome,
Thank you.
Amit.
Sorry for this delay, but thanks everyone for joining us. My name is Amit. I am Senior Engineering Manager at Redbus. I take care of, as described, the web-based applications for different line of businesses as well as for both domestic and international. Today I'm sharing stage with a very dear friend and a very talented web consultant, Mr. Hadyan. Although he's not able to make it up till joining me here physically, he's connecting virtually with us. And I have an amazing team. They are sitting right here. Feel free to reach out to any one of them, and post the session. They'll be able to help you if you have any doubts related to web AI or what Redbus has done, both in the section of performance or if it's related to the AI setup, which we have tried on both on B2B side as well as on the B2C side. Hadyan, over to you. Please introduce yourself.
Thank you. I hope my voice is audible to everyone. Hello. Thanks, Amit.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Okay. Hi, everyone. I can see that I am not visible on the screen, but yeah, it's unfortunate, and I feel bad I cannot join all of you today in person. But thanks to the amazing team that they make my trip for the chance for me to join remotely, and I'm excited to join Amit to discuss what is possible in the world of AI and web today, and how the amazing team at Redbus has been leveraging the latest web AI tech. My name is Hadyan. I'm a web ecosystem consultant at Google based in Singapore. We are actually a team being tasked to improve the health of web ecosystem globally by working with partners, developers like yourself, and also with the internal product and engineering team at Google on web platform and Chrome. So let's get started with our sharing. Over back to you, Amit.
Thanks, Hadyan. So, before going into the further details, I wanted to show a video to all of you, which was recently released in this Google I/O 2024. And this video is talking about how's the evolution of AI is happening on the browser ecosystem, who are the main players, who will get majorly impacted, and who will have the potential to drive this and reimagine the things, how you can give a better web application and give enriched, enhanced user experience to your customers. So let's go ahead and watch this video. All right. So this, as I described earlier before the video, this is has given us a glimpse of what is the possibilities which is going on right now, the evolution which is happening on the web ecosystem, and what kind of changes it is coming in. Who are the main key players around it? So first, us, the web developers. Second, the AI. Obviously, you guys are familiar with this term. Like has been like there with us from quite some time now. How it is going to impact the web and what kind of potential and power it is going to give on device. So basically, we have been using the AI on cloud for a lot of reasons. Large LLMs and everything is working fine. We have solved a lot of practical use cases both for the B2B as well as the B2C applications, and they are working very well for us. So, how is this transition happening? How are we going to embrace it? All those things we are going to talk about in the subsequent slide. So in the first part, I just want to take a few minutes and describe this part, like what is web AI. So web AI is a way of using machine learning in the web browser by leveraging the power of your device CPU and GPU with JavaScript and other technologies. In section of other technologies, it can be WASM, it can be different other ways. I think that we'll see in the later in the slides along with the demos. So in this definition itself, you would see there are two major parts which we are talking about. First one, using machine learning on web browser. I think just before this talk, when Dhananjay was talking about the performance. Now for web, this particular statement itself creates a lot of resistance and a lot of hindrance in developers' mind that if I'm going to load a model in my browser, is it not going to slow me down? If I load it on load of the page, my loading time will increase. He talked about the web vitals. Is it not going to impact my web vitals? For example, my any interaction which user is doing, if I am trying to get that through the the model which is sitting in the browser, is it not going to increase my INP? So these questions are valid questions. We have also gone through all of these when we tried to started the research on these things, and we also ask the same questions. So, but trust me, these are something which can be handled, and there are ways to it. We have to define the use case. Let's understand what are we targeting to solve, which use case actually suits in where you have to use the AI setup on your device itself. The second part here is talking about leveraging the power of your device CPU and GPU. Now, this is very interesting and very important point to understand that the power and potential of the devices nowadays are getting better and better. And obviously, in future, it is going to get even enhanced, and you will have more opportunities to build such kind of things inside your device. Now, when I'm talking about the device, although this session is about web AI, but it does not restrict to that. You can use it can be on the native device also, it can be on the website also, either of the ways. But it is very important to understand when you are downloading these things, when you are kind of doing these things, what are the use case which you are trying to solve. It should not be a fancy stuff that we are just trying to put a layer on top of our current use case or anything which we have built right now. So we'll walk you through some use cases which Request has done in the subsequent slides. This is the evolution which we were talking about, that we are kind of saying that there is a transition which is happening, there is a shift which is happening from the on cloud to the on device as our devices are getting better and enhanced, more power of computation and everything is coming up. But does this mean that is this a shift, or you should consider that okay, now I'm going to use on device AI more rather than on cloud AI? No, obviously not. On cloud AI is a separate tool. It's already working. It has proven its worth, and we have used in a lot of places for many sections, both on either on the business to business side or on the customer facing application side. So consider this as a new tool in your toolbox as a developer or as a product manager, where you can utilize this in solving specific use cases. I'll just give one example of a very specific use case, and that is one of the biggest advantage when why should we think towards this in terms of on-device AI. So one example for Redbus, like whenever we are doing the booking in the customer information page for international, especially, we ask not we actually the bus operators ask for like either passport information or DNI information. These are sensitive documents, and if I ask the user, okay, you have to fill the full page. Instead of that, we have given a feature that you can click on the camera will open. You just take a snap of the passport, It will read it, it will go to the servers, scan everything out of it, and automatically fill the customer information page. That has increased my conversion ratio from my customer information page to the payment page. Now that is the interesting part, but again there is a hesitance, there is a resistance. I don't want to share these kind of things which will go and sit on Redbus servers or any XYZ company servers and then gets processed. So if I promote this, saying that your privacy is intact, it is going to be, all these things is going to be done by a model which is sitting inside your device itself. That gives a lot of confidence to the users. This is just one example. There are multiple such examples in your daily tracking app in terms of medical sections. People don't want to share all their information and being processed on the cloud. Second major part for us in this space, same use case, was related to the latency. When I'm taking a snap, it has to be in right format, it has to be transferred over the network, processed there, come back. It takes a decent amount of time, and that also depends on the user's network and multiple other factors. So in this case, when I'm using the same setup inside the device, that is, the latency has gone down drastically. It has given a lot of improvement in terms of like trust for the users, and obviously indirectly impacted the business also. This is just one of the example. In the further use cases, I'll also show some of the like B2B use cases which has impacted the business and monetary aspect also a lot. Now this is just a demonstration of the same thing, that this is what we are using. There's no ditching to it. This will continue as it is. You guys use a lot of LLMs. They have been trained with large set of data. There's no question of ditching that or anything as such. You continue using it. This is flourishing on a different direction. That is something where targeted use cases can be solved, and we have to understand that the smaller version of the models can solve what use case and how it can make the life of the users better. I think these are some of the advantages. One just I talked about right now, and there are multiples. All of these are the few of the advantages which we are talking about. I think Hadyan will walk us through the rest of them. Hadyan, over to you.
Thank you. Am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible.
Okay, sure. So as Amit said, today we are not talking about servers versus on-device AI, but rather think of it like a web and app strategy, not versus but and. By getting the best of both server-side and on-device AI, we can unlock new possibilities for the users on your web platform. I'm sure you have been doing some machine learning AI on the server side for a while. So now let's take a look at why do we need to disrupt that. What are the benefits of on-device AI with practical examples of such applications? So as Amit already introduced, the first one is privacy. On-device AI handles data locally. So this is a strong privacy story for your users and their sensitive data. Because input from the camera, microphone, and other on-device sensors stay on-device. In the next slide, you can see the example of this. This is a company called Include Health. They enable physical therapies which help patients alleviate physical symptoms through monitored exercise programs. They use browser-based pose estimation models to perform remote therapy without sending any of the patient's images from their homes to the server. Instead, they're analyzing the image of the device and only sending the resulting range of motion statistics to the servers, allowing patients to perform their checkup from the comfort of their own home. Often, they're using comfortable home clothes or even sleepwear. So, privacy is in mind, right? The next benefit that we are going to see in the next slide is the ability to give users access to AI features even when they are offline on the device. So you can even perform AI tasks in areas with low or no connectivity after the page load. Now in today's connected world, you might be wondering why would a web application needs to work offline? But a great example of this can be seen in the next slide. This is an app created by Hugo Zani. He's a Google developer expert on machine learning, and he performs product placement verification using web application in supermarkets for a retail customer he is working with. We all know how bad the data connections are in supermarkets because the building design, the product placement design in store is creating something like a Faraday cage, which blocks network signal and block it quite effectively. So he leveraged TensorFlow.js to run his custom object detection model right in the browser. And it can work entirely offline. And then syncs the data back when a connection is available. The next benefit that we are going to look at in the next slide is low latency. When you get rid of that round trip travel to the server, in some use cases you can provide near instant experience. So on-device AI can be the difference between a delightful AI experience versus a janky, annoying user experience for your users. Now, an example of this use case can be seen in the next slide. If you are running a body pose and segmentation models, you can run this kind of analysis at over 120 frames per second on a mid-range laptop's GPU with great accuracy, reaching even if you already make it down to the smallest hundred of milliseconds of going back and forth to the server. Next, another benefit of on-device AI is lowering down the cost of running AI. This is a great news for businesses because you do not need to keep running expensive cloud-based GPUs and processors. On-device AI can help manage your server costs and also the server load because your user's device can shoulder some of the processing load with the increased device capabilities that they have on their hands nowadays. In the next slide, you can see two examples. On the left, you can see that an LLM use case for composing emails can easily be done directly on the web browser using a small carbon build model. On the right, you can see an example of a video conferencing use case. Imagine if you need to do as simple as background blurring or a 30 minutes video call. Now, a web camera has an average of 30 frames per second. So over 30 minutes, you will need to send around 54,000 images to the server and process it. Running such process on device will bring a significant cost saving for the business. The next benefit is the ability to run advanced AI features without asking the users to download huge installation files and run the installation process on their device. In the next slide, you can see how Adobe leverage this benefit for Adobe Photoshop on the web. For the native app on desktop, the installation file is around 1 gigabyte. Some platform even more than 1.2 gigabyte. And for mobile native app, it's around half of it, about 500 something megabyte. With on-device AI, they can run object selection features shown on this slide, embracing on-device capabilities to provide Adobe's users with a better user experience and eliminating the need for huge install files altogether. And the last benefit from on-device AI is in the next slide. This is no other than the superpower of web applications that we all love and we have benefited for a long time. It is the ability to run cross-device and platform at scale, therefore casting a wider reach of users on the web. Now, we have seen all the benefits on device AI, right? But we have also heard from the developer communities that there are some pain points when building user-facing AI features. In the next slide, let's take a look at some of those pain points. The first difficulty is to find the value of AI in your business. We are in the era where AI is really a buzz, but it's also pretty early days for a lot of developers and companies. So many teams are still exploring how to add value to their product with AI. The second, especially with large language models, many developers worry about controlling uncertain outputs. There is a concern to use LLM output for user-facing features, and whether you need to moderate the output before showing it to the users. And finally, for now, many developers prefer pre-trained models and ready-made APIs, which is understandable for sure because your focus is building product features. So you would rather leave training, fine-tuning to the ML specialists, right? But at the same time, there are use cases which require specific internal data training. Ready-made models are not completely tuned for some business use cases, relying on specific data. So how do you deal with this? The good news is, in the next slide, you can see that we have now pretty complete toolbox for web AI to be able to cater for both use cases. On the left-hand side, you build your own AI by using web GPU. It can unlock modern GPU access in the browser, and there are many frameworks and libraries that have been ported to web GPU, resulting in 2 to 3 times performance improvement compared to when they were implemented using WebGL. You can use the likes of Unity, TensorFlow.js, and other libraries to bring your own model to your web application. In fact, many popular Google products like Google Meet we are using now are already powered by WebGPU. You can also use WebAssembly, or we often call it WASM, a low-level binary format for the web that is compiled from other language. WASM facilitates high-performance applications on the web, but also retaining the portability and flexibility of your code. You can build with your favorite language and amazing new libraries brought by WASM. Today, there are more than 1,500 TM libraries with WASM. And then on the right side, for your common use cases, you can use on-device built-in AI APIs, like the one we have on Chrome. It is implemented with Gemini Nano model, allowing you to access AI capabilities running locally for the common use cases like summarizing, composing, rewriting. Chrome built-in AI APIs are already available for an early preview, which you can sign up through the link at the bottom right corner of this slide, or you can scan the QR. Now, that's all from me. Now let's hear from Amit to see how his amazing team at Redbus is leveraging the benefits while overcoming the pain points with some tips and suggestions to create really cool features that he will show you. Amit, let's hear from you.
Thanks, Hadyan. So this was quite a lot of demos were there. So I hope you guys took something out of it. But offline we can again discuss about all of them in detail. The good part that why we wanted to show all of these, like these are the real-time examples that people are using across the globe. That's why I mentioned in start of the session that it is very important to understand your use case. So not everything is like best solved by your on-cloud setups. It is solved, not, I don't deny that it is not possible to solve with the on-cloud AI setups. It is possible, but in terms of giving a better experience, if you have a smaller and precise version of models running on your device, then why not? You are giving those kind of extra advantages and benefits to the users. Now, this having shown all of these, this is an important part to understand that these three things is just we have taken out from our experience that when we started investigating on it, that how and what are the problems which we'll face when we are building anything as such on the web AI. The first part is like the hardware that we described in the definition only, the second part. See, you have to be very precise from which version or from which generation of your hardware you are going to give these kind of features to your customers. The reason why it is there in India or any other country, not all the devices are getting upgraded very frequently. There are tier 2 cities, people are still using those devices which are very old in generations, which does not have that kind of computation power. But they still are our customers, and we are giving all the facilities to all the customers at the same thing. So that is why understand your customer base, understand your use case, and target this from certain segment or certain generation of devices onwards, and also at the same time handle the fallbacks gracefully. When I'm saying this, it is very important that all the features which I am going to show in the next slides, this has been handled in such a manner that okay, whenever this is not being supported by that particular device, there is a check already there in the code which will fall back and come to the either on-cloud version of it, or it will try to give another alternative for it. But we should not be saying that this particular user does not have this capability, that means this feature is not for them. If it is able to run, he has a good internet, he has decent device where website is running, this means all the features should be available to them. That's the first part. Second part here is think about the use cases. As all these examples which you show and the further in the slides also you will see, the use cases are very important. You have to think through. You don't need to reinvent the wheel starting from zero and build something only targeted to this. All the layers which we have built right now, either in MMT or in Redbus or any Razor, anywhere, all the features are working perfectly fine. We are always thinking how we can plug in the AI setup on top of this to enrich and enhance the experience. So that's how we should start looking into it, and that's how actually based on our experience we have started working on that. That will also come up in the slides. Third and very important part is like data. You should not just download the models on your device, either you are using apps or web anywhere. Do not download any smaller models also, like without intimating the user, because data pack, for example, every one of us might be having 2.5 GB per day or 3 GB per day data packs or something. If you are just thinking about if you are, some customer has, or I have gone to the application, I came with the intent of purchasing a ticket, and you started downloading a 2 GB of like model behind this, my internet is gone, you lost a transaction. I'll not be able to do it today, maybe I'll change my mind tomorrow. So you should communicate first and understand that how light you can make this model. So in the earlier slide when Hadyan was talking about this, build your own AI. So as a developer, we are targeted, we are focused on building the use cases for the customers. We don't really want to train a model for, like especially in this group, I somehow feel, at least in my team also I have seen, that we try to leverage which is already ready and fine tune. We don't build this and kind of plug in and customize it, but that is one thing, that hesitance we have to somehow fight and get rid of. The reason is when you are targeting something very specific, your model will become very lighter. So and then it is easier for you to load either in browser or your on your app, and you can run it fine. So your problems need to be solved and handled in a right approach. Then you can actually achieve what you want to. That's about the third important part. These are three real-time experiences which we faced because we fell drastically when we not looked for this one. Or some of the features were not working on that direction, and then we understood that it has to be targeted from such a certain segment of devices, and then a graceful for that. The current implementation should also coexist along with the advanced implementations. Now, I have been calling out that okay, a lot of examples which we'll be showing. So first example here is there is a discussion which happens like if as a customer, if I'm facing a problem, I'll go to self-help section of any site and I'll try to connect to the agent on the other side, call center agent, and the conversation starts. Now, in this particular case, as a policy, we try to summarize the end-to-end conversation when the chat ends by the agent or by the customer, so that we keep a log of it for the later use if it is needed or not. So in those cases, so a decent amount of time was consumed for every agent when he has to start reading the conversation from the time of hi, I have this problem, how is this, what was the information which was gathered, everything. We have to completely go ahead and summarize it, and then agent has to write the summary in that. So good amount of time was being utilized from this. So what we did, we introduced Gemini Nano in the browser itself. As soon as the Salesforce, and plugged it to the Salesforce. So when the agent was closing the chat, and for the demo purpose, we have given a separate button, but as it can be built in that manner that when you are ending the chat, it will automatically trigger that summarization API with the Nano, and it will kind of give you in milliseconds that okay, this is done, this is a summary of your complete chat, and the agent can just go through it, read through it. If it is valid, it's fine, just close the case, that's it. So in this case, I'm saving time. The per agent, the number of cases which he could have handled, that also increased a lot. My productivity increased, and I don't, if my business is scaling, I don't need to scale my call center in the same manner. That also was there. So business is also happy. Agents are happy because their work got offloaded to something which is, they just have to go through, okay, the summary, whatever is came out is correct or not. This is the example of that which I just described. Sorry. I think in this case, video is not coming up. Okay, I think videos did not came up on this one. Sorry, my bad. Video did not came up on this one, but that is what it was supposed to do. Basically, it is trying to convert and summarize for the customer, for the agent, and that's how the Gemini Nano was plugged inside the browser, and it is connected to Salesforce. Even when the chat ends, it continues and does the work. The second part of the demo, like which we wanted to highlight again on this one also. I think all the videos are not coming up. Okay, I'll just explain about all of these. So in the second one, what we tried on our when you are going from a source to destination, you are searching for a bus or a flight, and you're kind of going into the next place. This is the example of the bus seat layout, where in the lower section, a bus details section used to come, where you can figure out about the bus images, your ratings and reviews provided by the earlier customers who has used this service. So what we used to do, we have connected this all the reviews and tried to given the summarization setup again inside the device itself. What it does, it helps the user to understand, take a decision saying that okay, now this is the service which I want or not. There are different operators, there are different type of services. Some service can be saying that okay, now this is very clean, this is very safe in terms of women security, this is very punctual on time. So all these summaries along with the pros and cons associated to that particular service is being highlighted automatically. The user does not have to go through all the reviews. There can be hundreds of reviews. Does not make sense to go through all the reviews and kind of make a decision. So I'm summarizing and giving it upfront. So this is something like help the business also indirectly and help the user experience wise. The next part was the third place where we tried it on. There is something called RB Explore on Redbus. Thank you page and the tracking links tracking page. So basically what we try to do is like if you are a tourist, you are going from a source to destination, you want to explore about the destination, you want to see the attractions which is available there, the kids friendly places, the if you want to buy back something for your family from those places, those things are listed down automatically on this particular page considering the destination where you are traveling to. So now this thing first using it was initially built using the GPT. Now this is again a good example where we were already using on cloud AI, which was working fine for us, but the same problems having high latency whenever there is a like processing is. So some low end cities where we don't have much data, or the GPT also sometimes starts hallucinating. So in those cases we had some problems. So when I use the these especially these two places, attractions and things to buy. So these does not change for per city. If I have to travel to a like tourist spot, Banarita Zoo or something, this is going to be there already. So I train my model, keep it in the browser, and these informations are getting extracted offline mode also without any latency, and it is working perfectly fine in that sense. So two advantages again, it is not the privacy part, but offline and the low latency. These are the two advantages which this example is showing about. The next part here is about the future possibilities and what we are trying right now. The OCR model which we have just discussed, that is something which we tried upon on the customer information page for Malaysia and Latin America also. It is something which is going to come up soon for the bus booking system. And the next one is, so when we are collecting the rating and reviews actually, so we, user can actually give the review. Based on that, you can do the sentiment analysis of it, fill the ratings against it, and kind of if that review is not conclusive, you can actually go ahead and prompt the user saying that okay, please be more precise on what kind of problem or what kind of experience you have got, so that we can fill it against that. Like ratings will be more appropriate, and some action maybe if required can be taken against it. So those kind of things which you can do on device, you don't need to actually go to the on cloud for doing these kind of activities. The third part, which is again a discussion within the team right now, these all are not implemented. The second and third one is not implemented right now. So the third one is like using something like when you're traveling and you have low network or you have no network, something a personalized model which is sitting on your phone or on your device, which will be able to answer all your generic questions about the destination, about your travel, whatever you have, like that is customized and kind of trained in that manner for that user. So that is where we are currently discussing and kind of solutionizing it. Maybe in some time it will come up. So that's all about the opportunities which is there in the web AI right now, and it is evolving. It's not in a very kind of evolved or stable state. We are just evolving, and we as a developers community, along with the products, let's try and build some things. What is new going to come up? It depends on the use cases. So that's all from my side. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Amit and Hadyan. So maybe you want to wait for 2 minutes until we take the questions. Maybe you can be on the stage. So team, do you have any questions for Hadyan, Amit? Yes, please. You want to take this?
By personalized, what do you mean exactly? Personalized to the user on the platform, or it's the platform itself? And if you are making that model personalized, what kind of feedback loop you are taking? Because you talked about privacy, right? And you were giving the example of passport upload, right? So you don't want to, let's say, the user actually replace some characters after the autofill. Are you taking any kind of feedback loop? Or if not, if yes, then the privacy is, I guess it's not there. And then if not, then it is not exactly personalized to the user, which is using that model on the device.
It's not personalization in terms of the user aspect. It is basically personalized, like targeted and focused on your use case. For example, if I'm training a model which is specifically for the passport, DNI, or these kind of Aadhaar card or documents like that, I will train the model in that segment itself to make sure. There's a very good example in terms of like Gemini Nano. You would have heard about that, has came up recently, and Google has announced that is working beautifully. But it is a collection of different setups. Maybe you can summarize, you can do a translation. There are multiple things which you can do with that small model. That small model, when it downloads on the browser, it's hardly 2.1 GB. But ideally, it's a collection of all those things. So what we are trying to say is like you need to slice down your use case. Maybe from 2.1 GB, you can cut it down to only 300 MB, something like that, which is targeted and focused to your use case. So what I'm saying, personalized is not from the user angles. This is something where I'm trying to focus on only that particular feature and use case, so that my download gets reduced. I don't impact my user experience and things run in a right way. So that is where, and there's no feedback loop obviously being collected, because in that case, obviously privacy will get impacted.
But still, I mean, will not be, will that model become inefficient late with the time, right?
No, so if that happens, then second version of the same model will come up, because it's on the browser which we are talking about, and we have already reduced the size drastically. So it is something like what Dhananjay explained. It's something like we are shipping 200 KB of JavaScript. Maybe in future I'll be able to ship only that much of the delta, whatever is the enhancement or the new training which has been done based on the new document type which has came up, something like that. So that is how we'll keep on upgrading it, because you have, the problem is when your size is too huge, you can't ask for consent every time that okay, now I'm going to replace this everything again from zero. That's why if you reduce it, make it to a very controllable manner, then you can keep on updating it from the back end. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have anyone else who wants to ask something? Yes.
Hello, thanks for the talk. I had a question about Gemini Nano. Are there any plans to make it to W3C, make it in Firefox, Safari, or in browsers, or right now it's a Google only thing?
I think Hadyan would be able to answer this correctly, but I'll just say yes, any of such initiatives which Google has done, we have seen in history that they are doing across the browsers. Multiple such examples are there. But Hadyan, would you like to take this up?
Sure. What is the question? Can you
The question is that right now Gemini Nano is specific to Chromium browsers, right? So are there any plans to push it to a web standard so that Firefox and Safari can also adopt it?
Okay, great. Yeah, thanks for the question. That is something that we are trying to advocate and address, right? Because we are trying to find out with like people like Red Plus, with developers too, right? How such a small model that it comes with browser installation can be really useful in the context of like real business use cases, real world use cases, right? So now it's in the stage that we are trying to convince that this is helpful And once it is established, there will be specific APIs that we are really hoping that the others we are advocating. So as I mentioned, I'm working in web platform promoting. So this is one of the things that we are constantly advocating and we help users and developers. Right? So it is something that you can also contribute. You can show the world that this is the kind of use cases that can be useful, and then you can also put it out there. The same that we do.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Amit and Hadyan.
Thank you.
So let's all open our minds to the exciting future of AI in the web world. So I think it's time we can break for lunch, but there are two requests from my end. One thing, we have a feedback board behind here. There's a whiteboard there. So we request you to please give in your valuable feedback, either before lunch or after lunch. Okay, that's your choice. And we can regroup here back at 2 p.m. if that's okay with everyone. Thank you so much. Enjoy your lunch.